Audiobook Academy. Book Summary. Bluebeard. By Charles Perrault. Fairy tales arouse the imagination of people by praising the prize that would be given to those who are patient, hardworking, and honest. They also inform us about people's characters, making us wonder if the individuals we believe in are worthy of our friendship and concern. What you see may not be what you get, and we shouldn't judge individuals solely on their appearance, according to this story's moral. We must be prudent in our selection of those in whom we place our faith. At first glance, Bluebeard appears to be a kind and considerate man, but he turns out to be calculating and malicious. The opposite side was controlled by Bluebeard, who instructed his wife not to enter the locked room because she would be punished for her disobedience. He had to keep his threat since she wouldn't listen. Synopsis. Once upon a time, there lived a man with a Bluebeard. There were numerous carriages and homes, as well as silver and gold flatware and expensive furnishings, that belonged to him. Despite his wealth, women were afraid of him due of his beard. A young mother and her two gorgeous daughters resided in the neighborhood. A proposal from Bluebeard to one of them resulted in the mother choosing which one of them would be his bride. Nobody knew what had happened to his prior wives, therefore neither of them wanted to marry him because they knew he had been married before. Bluebeard decided to host a party in one of his country homes and invited the mother and her daughters, as well as some of his friends, to join him. Everyone agreed to attend. When they got there, they ate well, went fishing, and then got up and danced and sang a lot. The girl's mother consented to let Bluebeard to marry one of her daughters because she thought he wasn't such a nasty guy. Bluebeard went on vacation after a month. He told his wife to take advantage of their time together while he was gone. To avoid causing him to become upset, he gave her the keys and urged her not to enter the house's most inaccessible chamber. His wife had pledged to comply, so he was free to depart on his vacation without incident. Her pals, including those who weren't invited, showed up at her house. In the end, they couldn't decide which of his residences was prettier, so they went exploring. Because they were afraid of him, this was the first time they had gone to his residence. Upon arrival, they were greeted by a large living room that was adorned with expensive furnishings, including a large couch. They couldn't stop staring at the mansion and envied their friend for being able to take advantage of all of the lovely amenities. She didn't enjoy any of it because she couldn't stop thinking about the little forbidden room. So she left her pals and dashed down the stairwell to get the key to the room. Even though she was apprehensive, she succumbed to the temptation. She couldn't see much when she opened the doors since it was so dark. She spotted a bloody puddle and a row of charred carcasses. Ex-wives of Bluebeard were involved. She was in a state of panic. But the key she was trying to use to get out of her room ended up in a blood-splattered mess. Bluebeard returned from his vacation, and she had to clean the key before he returned to the room. She went to her room to rest and wash the key, but there was a problem. The key had magical properties. One half of her body appeared to be bleeding while she bathed the other. That same night, Bluebeard returned home. When he showed there early, his wife pretended to be overjoyed. His hands were shaking so much when he inquired for his keys the next day that he immediately realized what she had done. He noticed that the key to the small room was missing, so he instructed her to bring it over. In the woman's room, she claimed she had left it behind. He noticed the key had blood streaks on it. The woman was cursed with a terrible fate. He informed her she deserved to die as a result of what she'd witnessed. As the woman knelt before him, begging for his forgiveness and mercy, he showed no sign of softening. Before he killed her, the woman begged him to allow her to pray. During this time, Bluebeard let her pray. If her brothers, who had said they'd show up today, don't show, she warned her sister, she'd climb the tower and check. The sun and the meadow were all that her sister could see. The woman repeatedly inquired about her sister seeing the brothers before learning that they were on their way. While Bluebeard threatened to kill her, the woman waited for her brothers. He had run out of patience and demanded that she come out so that he could take care of business. Shockingly, she knelt down and begged him to hold off for just a little longer. He became increasingly agitated and told her that she must die immediately. Her brothers arrived just in time to slash Bluebeard to death with a sword. He wanted to flee, but he couldn't since he knew they were powerful young men. Due to her extreme terror, the woman barely made it. A portion of her father's money was given to her siblings, while the rest she put away for herself. As it turned out, she found a good partner to settle down with, one who was honest and supportive as she worked to overcome her tough history. Bluebeard, he appears to look as a good, but in reality he is a cruel man. The man had a long beard, was exceedingly well off, and frequently divorced his wives, making him a terrifying figure to those around him. After attempting to murder his wife, He dies and she inherits the entire estate. Wife, a good woman whose insatiable curiosity nearly cost her life. Until the moment he instructed her not to enter a certain room in the house, she had complete faith in him. Her life may have been spared but for Bluebeard's warnings that punishment awaits those who ignore his orders. She succumbed to the temptation and did what he had banned her to do, even though she knew better. Her brothers were able to save her in time. Charles Perrault was the seventh of 8 children born in a well-to-do household in Paris in 1628. As a result of his father's tough teaching methods, he chose a career in law. After completing his education, he was offered a position in the government. According to many, he is the creator of the most popular genre for children, fantasy stories. He drew inspiration from the folklore he had heard from others. Both the Grimm brothers and mouth-to-mouth transmission played a role in their transmission. Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Bluebeard, and Puss in Boots are just a few of Charles's well-known tales. Tales of Mother Goose is a new book by this well-known French author. It was a collection of 8 stories. Charles used his son's name to publish this publication. His fairy tales became so well-known that they were adapted for film and television. First published in 1969, The Sleeping Beauty is one of the most popular fairy tales ever written. Known as one of the most influential figures of the 17th century, Charles was a staunch advocate for the next generation. An ongoing debate was taking place back then between those who advocated for a more traditional writing style and others who favored a more modern approach. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button for more content like this. See you in next video.